wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Live in dry, increasingly sunny Los Angeles. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and here on FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me. What a football season it has been.
It has been incredible.
Unbelievable. And here we are. We are left with the four best coaches in football and the four best offenses in football. The first you can argue, but I think it's true. The second you can't argue. The NFL has changed. Now, we have seen, before I get to my picks, we have seen over the last couple of weeks that when you get into January and the weather's colder, the offenses come down a little. I will say in both games this weekend, I do not see wild shootouts. I don't think Drew Brees played particularly sharp last week. Goff has never been quite as good on the road. I think that game will be played within the 20s. I think New England's running game is a real issue to control the clock and keep the score down. And it should be noted, Patrick Mahomes, the 5 coldest games he has played in temperature-wise are his 5 lowest QBRs. I think we're going to have competitive games. I think we're going to have, if you were a bettor, under the over and under number, the total. I think these games will mostly be played inside the 20s. I think the crowd in New Orleans will have a negative effect on the Rams. I think the cold, choppy weather and wind in Kansas City will have a negative effect on both offenses. I have always had sort of theories on football. If you've listened to this show, I think it's very hard, though not impossible, to duplicate a great performance. New England played the best game I've seen them play in a decade against a good team. I'm not joking. Hard to duplicate. The Rams were literally flawless against the Dallas Cowboys. Even got a few officiating breaks. Very hard to duplicate. That in no way is giving away my picks. But I'm just telling you how I see the world. I think we're going to have games played in between the 20s, the 4 best offenses, the 4 best coaches, but they will not be fireworks shows. These will be smartly schemed, well played. Health could matter. You know, a Travis Kelce goes down or a James White early, the Chiefs-Patriots game is different. An Andrew Whitworth, a Robert Woods goes down, that is not good for the Rams. I think if you look at the playoffs over the last month, home field teams have gotten the majority of the breaks from officials. Rams certainly got big breaks from the officials last week. So all that plays into it. And with no further, if I told you, Joy, there's been 8 games, I'm 8-0.
Yes.
All right. Let's get to it. Our Blazing 5.
That's a hot one. Let's blaze it up. Fire it up. It's Colin's Blazing 5. Rams at Saints.
Rams, the number is the Rams are getting more than a field goal plus 3.5. The Saints are actually now more of a defensive story than an offensive story. They've held 7 of their last 9 opponents under 20 points. Since Week 10, they lead the NFL in takeaways and sacks. Yes, they are a defensive story. Drew Brees was not as great. He was not last week. Yards per play of the 4 remaining teams, the Saints are easily last. This is a defensive story, and they'll have that home crowd behind them and the veteran quarterback. The Rams, though, have become a very good under Sean McVay road team. 13-3 the last 2 years. Now, Jared Goff is never as good on the road, and that has to be considered. Though I think he's the more youthful, stronger arm quarterback in this game. With better receiving targets, he will not play like he does at home. But the Rams are averaging 232 yards since they rebooted with C.J. Anderson. That leads the league, including the playoffs, since they rebooted. And they're a completely different defense with Aqib Talib. It's not Aaron Donald or Ndamukong Suh or Marcus Peters. Without Talib this year, they've allowed 31 points a game. And with him, they've allowed 18. He was missing in the first game. The Rams are the healthier team up front offensively, with right now momentum with their running game. It will be close. I think a call could swing it. but I would strongly suggest you take the points in the Rams at 3.5. I have them winning 27-26 in a nail-biter in one of the best NFL games of the year. Breeze probably outplays Goff, but the better roster, the healthier roster, and the better running game prevails. Let's go.
Patriots at Chiefs.
The Patriots are at Kansas City. We know that Tom Brady is 13-2 under 40 degrees. And did you know that Patrick Mahomes' 5 coldest games are his 5 lowest quarterback ratings? But here's something to remember about the Patriots, and we could all agree on this. This team has the least dynamic playmakers. I'm not saying they're a bad offense, but they're not a dynamic vertical team passing the ball. Why does that matter? Well, look at their road record this year. 9-0 at home, 3-5 on the road. Your efficiency automatically drops when you leave your home stadium, even with New England. That's why it's valuable to have playmakers on the road. The teams that were good on the road this year were the Chargers and the Saints and the Rams and Kansas City and Houston. They have playmakers, quarterback, wide receiver, and backs. Because as all 5 of those teams' efficiency drops on the road, you need special players to make special plays. And New England does not have dynamic vertical players to make those plays. The coaching, it's mostly a push, slight edge to Belichick, home field Kansas City, defensive line and pass rush Kansas City, and weapons edge Kansas City. The Patriots' lack of success on the road is directly correlated to what hurts all teams on the road. Efficiency drops. I would strongly suggest this is one of the safest NFL playoff picks this year, and my favorite so far. Swallow the points. Kansas City wins 28-23. Mahomes is good, not great, but without the pass rush the Chiefs have, the weapons home field, it's a coaching push. The lack of playmakers will undo the less efficient Patriots away from home. The dynasty is not over. They've got 12 draft picks, and they'll have cap space. But this team from Foxborough is done by Sunday night. That's our Blazing 5.
Wow.
I will say this one more time. I feel very strongly about my Kansas City pick. The Chargers, Saints, Rams, Kansas City, and Houston and Chicago had the best road records. Now, Chicago has mostly defensive playmakers. Playmakers win on the road because no team and no quarterback over time is better on the road than at home because you can't hear on the road. So New England has been able to win road playoff games before when Gronk was in his prime, the late Aaron Hernandez, Randy Moss, Wes Welker. They are now an efficiency offense. That's why there is such a disparity between New England's home performances and road. And they're going to need somebody to make a play, and they simply do not have that this year. I do believe with 12 draft picks and free agency, they will acquire that going forward. Rob Parker is going to tell us why come Sunday, Independence Day is moving from July to January. And that is coming up next. The holidays are behind us. And honestly, this is the time of the year you want to get back to your natural habits. You want to lose some weight, want to feel a little more energy, and get back to feeling, the way you do until about Christmas week. How about the Metamucil 2-week challenge? Okay, 95% of us aren't getting enough fiber to begin with. So actually, Metamucil is for all of us. Go to Metamucil.com, sign up now, $4 off coupon. That'll get you motivation, tips, reminders, coupon, and recipes. Metamucil, I know what you're thinking.